Welcome back to my channel, Absera Studio. All students and audiences, welcome to the stage. It's an absolute pleasure to have each and every one of you here today. I want to take a moment to share something truly special with you all, my YouTube channel, which is Absera Studio. I invite you to hit that magical subscribe button, so you never miss a moment of the exciting content I have in store for you. Now, let's talk about the power of a simple click, the like button. Liking my videos shows your appreciation for the hard work I put into creating them. Thank you for joining my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our future cosmic adventures.
Welcome again to my channel. This is Geography of Ethiopia and the Horn. The chapter 1, which is part 3, which is entitled as Themes of Geography, or we can say that the principles of what geography. Then I will show you, or I will present the major themes of what geography, or the major principles of geography. So themes of geography, or sometimes you can say that principles for geography. Then there are 5 themes or concepts of geography. So these are location. The second one is place. The third one is human-environmental interaction. The fourth one is movement. And the fifth one is regions. So these are what? The 5 themes or core concepts of what geography. So the first one is the location. Location, it is what? It is the position of what the Earth surface, or location is, it is defined about the position of what the place, whether it is found in the northern or the southern hemisphere based on the 0 degree latitude or from the equator. So this is known as position. So the locations answers the questions where we are, or where are we. So this is what it focused about the location. So location can be expressed in terms of what 2 methods, or there are 2 types of what methods are there in order to express the location. The first one is the absolute location, or sometimes we can say that astronomical location, or the exact location. And the second one is relative location, or expressing of the location of the feature, or the position of the feature in relation to the physical as well as the human dimension, or the human phenomena. So the first one is the absolute location. Then, as the name indicates, absolute, or it is true location. So it is defined by its latitude and longitude, or it is the exact address. So you know that what does it mean, latitude and longitude. So latitude is what? It is an imaginary line that draws in horizontal, and it shows whether the features is found in the northern or the southern hemisphere based on the equator. Whereas the longitude is, it is an imaginary line that draws in a vertical, and it tells about whether the features is located in the western or the eastern direction based on the Greenwich meridian or the prime meridian. So the second one is relative location. Then at the name relative, then it is what? Expressing the location based on some physical as well as the human created features here. Then it is defined by its vicinity or neighborhoods, or to others, or in reference to other places or other countries. So for example, the first one is, this is the absolute location. We can express the absolute location of what any features by using of what the latitude and the longitude. So we know that this is a 0 degree latitude, then this is 0 degree latitude, and also this is a 0 degree longitude. So that based on, by reading of the latitude and the longitude value, then we can express the location here. So this location, expressing of the location based on the latitude and the longitude, is, it is known as absolute location, or astronomical location, or it is mathematical location. Then the second types of what themes is known as this place, which is the physical as well as the human characteristics of what the place. The place refers to the physical and the human aspects of what the location. Place is strongly associated with meanings. So these themes of what geography is associated with the top name, or the name of what the place, the sites, or the description of what the features of the place, and the situation or the environmental condition of what the place. So then each place in the world has its unique characteristics expressed in terms of the landforms, yeah. Then every places have its own unique features, like in terms of what landforms, in terms of what hydrology, biogeography, pedology, or the soil types, and also size of what human population and the distinct human cultures, yeah. Therefore, the concept of what place aids geographers to compare and contrast two places on the earth, yeah. So that we can what? We can compare and contrast based on the human as well as the culture, the physical dimension of what the place. Yeah. And the third one is which is known as human environmental interaction. Yeah. So what is the relationship between humans and their environment? Yeah. Then it looks at the relationship between peoples or humans and their environment. So humans have always been on ceaseless interaction with their natural environment. So the connection and interaction between the humans and their human beings and the overall environment can be expressed in terms of different relations are there. So human environmental interaction involves three distinct aspects. That means the humans is directly depending on the environment, or the humans can be adaptation, or there are by developing of a different adaptation mechanism. So there is an adaptation strategies or techniques are there with on the environment, and also there is a modifications are there. Yeah. Meaning that the human beings have the capacity or the potential to modify the environment, yeah. So that the human environmental interaction is expressed in terms of dependency or depending on the environment, adaptation, and also modification, yeah. So this is questions to ask when thinking about human environmental interaction. So how do humans depend on their environment? So that means there is depending on the environment, dependencies are there. Then, for example, in ancient time, the annual flooding of the Nile River produced good soils for growing crops. Yeah. So that the peoples or the humans are directly depending on their environment. Yeah. So for agricultural activities, then the peoples of the ancient Egyptians or other countries, they are directly depending on the flooding of the Nile River to produce good soils for growing of the crops. Yeah. And the second one is how do humans adapt to their environment? Yeah. So there is a different types of what environmental conditions are there. Yeah. So that there is a good environment and there is a bad environment or harsh environments are there. If so, or if there is a harsh environmental condition, then there should be some adaptation mechanism should be there. Yeah. Then how do humans adapt to their environment? Yeah. So the ancient Egyptians rebuilt their homes each year after the annual flooding. As time went on, they built their homes above the flood plains. So you see, so they have their own adaptation skills are there to survive the harsh environment. Yeah. And the third one is modifier. Then how do humans modify or change their environment? Yeah. So we can, as human beings, then we do have the capacity or the potential to adapt and modify or change the environment. Yeah. Meaning that when there is a harsh climate conditions are there, then we can modify and change that harsh climate condition into a suitable climate condition. Yeah. For example, the ancient Egyptians built irrigation ditches to help water the crops. Yeah, you see. Then this is changing what their environment. Yeah, so they modify the environment by building of what irrigation ditches or by using of what irrigational activity. Then they can grow crops by using of what these irrigational activities. In modern times, Egypt built a dam to control the flood waters of the Nile River. Yeah. It is important for hydroelectric power, for irrigation purpose, for drinking of water, for recreational purpose, and also for mitigating of floods. Yeah. So they can modify the natural environment. Yeah. So when you are talking about the dependency, it refers to the ways in which humans are dependent on, rely on the nature or the environment for living. Yeah. So this dependency refers to the ways in which humans are dependent, rely on the natural or environment for living. So for the basic needs, food, shelter, and for clothing, yeah. Then humans are depending on the natural environment. For example, farmers depend on their rain during certain seasons to successfully water their crops. If the condition of the situation have changed and are late, the amount of what produced to cultivate will be affected. Yeah. So that it is directly depending or rely on the environment. Yeah. So such types of what human environmental interactions are there, meaning that the humans are directly or 100% depending on the environment. Yeah. And the second one is adaptation, then which refers to humans have the capacity to modify and transform the environment to meet their needs and desires. Yeah. So there is what there is the capacity and modifying of what the natural environments can be done by the peoples. Yeah. Then it is related to how humans modify themselves, their lifestyles and their behaviors to live in a new environment with new challenge. Yeah. So that even though there is the existence of what harsh climate conditions are there, so that people have the capacity to modify and transform this harsh environmental condition, and also they can modify the environment. Yeah. So, for example, after moving to a place with a colder climate, those who are accustomed to warmer weather quickly find ways to ensure warmth by fabricating new clothes. Yeah. Or humans have settled in variety virtually every corner of the world by successfully adapting to various natural settings. Yeah. So, for example, in the desert region and also in the polar areas, so there is a different types of what climate conditions are there, so that people can adapt these different or these extreme temperature variations in the humid climate condition and also in the hot desert areas. Yeah. For example, people who live in the northeastern United States use heating units to keep their homes warm in winter season. Yeah. And also people in the southern part of the country use their conditioners much of the year to stay cold in the heat. Yeah. So that whenever there is a harsh or hot temperature and cold temperatures are there, so people they can develop or they can modify that climate conditions by using of what different techniques or by using of what different methods. So the ways people choose to adapt their settings reflect their economic and political circumstance and their technological abilities. Yeah. So that the adaptation mechanisms or the adaptation techniques can be determined based on their economic level and also the political circumstance and their technological abilities or technological advancement. Yeah. And the third one is modification. Yeah. So this modification allowed humans to conquer the world for their comfortable living condition. Yeah. So that meaning that then the people modified the natural environment to meet their basic needs by using for different techniques or by using for different activities. Yeah. For example, they build dam, plow and irrigate fields and dig mines. They build house, schools, and shopping centers on the land. Yeah. So that by using of this one, then they can what? They can modify or they can modify the environment. Yeah. So when you are summarizing, then the dependency refers to the reliance of human beings on the environment for their survival and well-being, meaning that the peoples are directly depending on the environment. And the adaptation refers to the ability of what human beings to adjust to the environment and its changing condition. Yeah. Meaning that humans have the capacity to develop strategies, technologies, and social systems to cope with environmental changes and adaptations. Yeah. Then adaptation involves modifying behaviors, practice, and technologies to better align with the environmental condition and mitigate potential risk or potential disasters. Yeah. Whereas modification refers to the intentional alteration or transformation of the environment by human beings, meaning that humans have the capacity or the capability to modify and transform from the environment to meet their needs and desire. So these are what these are the third themes of what geography, which is known as human environmental interaction. And the fourth one is the movement, or sometimes it is known as this translocation. Yeah. Then it entails on the translocation of what humans beings. That means the humans are moving from one area to another area, and also goods and service and ideas from one into the planet or place to another. Yeah. So that there is what there is a movement or translocation of what humans beings, goods and service, and also ideas are there. Yeah. Therefore, it is important for facilitating the globalization process and technological transfer. Yeah. So at the current time, so there is a globalization are there, meaning that then every place are what it is interconnected with globalization. So there is human and goods and service and also ideas are it is moving from one place to another place or from one planet to another. So this is also the themes of what geography. So these aspects of what the movements or the translocations are the physical movement of living things like peoples and animals are moving from one area to another area, and also transportation of goods or products and services are moving from one area, and also there is flow of what ideas are there or informations are there. So it allows the unification of what the human civilization, and it promotes its growth and prosperity. So these human beings or this human environmental interaction, which is a movement, is facilitated by this one. So this movement is what it is, what it allows the unification of what the human civilization, and also it promotes its growth and prosperity or its development. Yeah. And the fifth one, themes of geography, is it is known as a region. Then we have defined the region as it is a geographic area having distinctive character that distinguishes itself from adjacent units or of space. Yeah. So it concerned with how areas are similar or different based on their physical or cultural characteristics. Yeah. So meaning that then one region or is differ from another region in terms of what their character, or what based on this physical as well as the cultural characteristics or cultural phenomena. So various factors such as language, religion, political boundaries, climate, landforms, and economic systems can define region. Yeah. So meaning that then region can be classified based on the language, based on the religion, based on the political boundary, based on the climate condition, based on the landforms, and based on the economic systems, and also based on the socio-economic perspectives. Yeah. So the concept of region helps us understand the diversity and complexity of what our world by grouping place with similar characters of what together. Yeah. So that this region is what, since there are different types of what physical as well as human dimensions of what the regions are there, so that the regions can be classified or distinguished based on their it is similar character or based on similar phenomena. So geographers categorize regions into three. The first one is formal or uniform region. The second one is functional or nodal region, and the third one is perceptual or vernacular regions, or based on the feeling and the attitudes of what the people say. So when we are talking about the formal or uniform region, as the name indicates, formal or uniform regions, then the regions have similar or homogeneity characteristics area. So it has similar characters. Then it is characterized by a common characters like the human or cultural property, and also the physical property. For example, when we are talking about the human or cultural property, then the presence of peoples who share a language, meaning that if the peoples have the same language, the same religion, or the same economy, or the same nationality, and the same political identity, then this is known as formal or uniform region. And also, if the regions have the same soil or climate or landform, vegetation, or highland or lowland part, then this is known as it is formal or uniform region, or homogeneous region, or similar region in terms of what the human and the physical character. And the second one is functional or nodal region. Yeah. So these are defined by a system of what interaction. Yeah. Based on their interactions, then we can classify the regions as nodal or functional. So these are regions that is made up of different places that are linked and functions as a unit, which means usually a functional region is characterized by a hub or central place and defined by the linkage building particular phenomena. So you see, then there is what? There is a central hubs or central places are there, and that hub or the central place is what? It is creating what? A linkage with other places or other phenomena. Then defined by a set of a social, political, or economic activity or the interaction that occurs within it. Yeah. For example, in urban areas. Yeah. For example, we can consider density is higher in the center and fades as you moved further away. So meaning that, so when we are thinking about functional or a nodal region, then we are classifying of what the region or based on the hub or the central places based on their social, political, and economic activity. Yeah. Then where is politically, economic, and social phenomena is highly advocated or highly exist. So based on that, then that region is known as it is functional or nodal region. For example, Addis Ababa is the center of what Ethiopia linked with other regions. You see, so it is what it is. Addis Ababa is, it is a functional or nodal region. Why? Because it is a social, a political, and economical activities or interactions that takes place in Addis Ababa, and there are from the north and south or east-west direction. Then there is an interaction or interactions are there. So that this is what such types of what region is known as functional or nodal region. Yeah. And the other one is perceptual or vernacular region. Yeah. So sometimes this region is known as it is cultural region. So the idea of what region based on the personal perception. Yeah. So that then the peoples can create region based on their perception. Yeah. Their personal perception. Yeah. So it is a region in which people perceive or see the characters of what the region in the same way. Yeah. For example, a perceptual region is based on the shared feeling and attitude of the people who live in the area. So are defined by people's attitudes and feelings about an area. So for example, the Southern California, the South, the Middle East, you see, then the North, the West, the Southeast. So this is what it is vernacular or perceptual region. So it is defined based on the personal perception. Yeah. So this is more about the today's section. So thank you very much.
Thank you for joining my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our future cosmic adventures. Thank you for watching my channel. Until next time, keep looking up.